Moshi Mosh Liebe, artgenossen, liebe SLP-ARMY, liebe Freunde und Fans von Videospielen. Wir machen weiter mit dem nächsten Part von Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Wir haben endlich erfahren, was der Peace Walker ist und er trappelt nicht auf Pass rum, er trappelt auf uns allen rum. Das Ding ist scheiße. So. Einsatzauswahl. Ich will noch einmal das mit dem Panzer probieren. Ich will einmal versuchen, den zu catchen. Diesmal probiere ich es so, wie ich es gesagt habe. Ich nehme eine normale Schusswaffe mit. Am besten so eine M60 oder so, ne? Was haben wir noch? Die wäre vielleicht auch gar nicht mal so verkehrt, aber... nehmen wir die M60 mit. Und den RPG. Nee, Quatsch. Ach, scheiße, das ist ja das Problem. Jetzt sehe ich wieder, wo das Problem ist. Ne, Moment. Überhaupt kein Problem. Überhaupt kein Problem. 60. So. Steht schon noch Rang 2? Ne. Muss noch. So, und dann probieren wir das mal damit. Die M60 zum Ausschalten der kleinen Minions. Dann müsste er ja rauskommen. War ja bis jetzt immer so, wenn er keine Soldaten mehr hat, dass er dann selber sich zeigt. Das können wir überspringen, das kennen wir schon. Hätte ich wenigstens ein Mittelchen für dieses Ding. Dilemma.
Neutralize the enemy troops. Strike before they spot you.
Das macht bei dem Schaden. Wow. Respekt. Okay, es bringt anscheinend doch was. Wie gut sind die Jungs gepanzert, ne? Mhm. Das macht ihn langsamer. Okay, das ist natürlich interessant. Verdammt. Ja. Kein Problem. Ach, geht nur eine zur Seite. Okay.
Mach mal kurz auf, K.
Mhm. Ach so. Jetzt verstehe ich.
You're asking for the impossible. We need some time. Try again later. You'll have to wait a bit.
Ach, man kann die Helme abschießen? Interessant. Das geht bei denen gar nicht. Oh, das wollte ich gar nicht.
They've okayed your request for a cardboard box. It'll be sent out shortly.
Nicht wieder auf meinen Kopf fallen, bitte. Mal Drecksack, ey. Du Schwein! Shit.
Wieder da.
Welcome back.
Danke.
Scheiße, der falsche.
They've okayed the request for support. They're sending out a cardboard
Ja, super, die schmeißen ihn ja dahin.
You're going it alone? No way! You're out of here!
Scheiße. Wie kriege ich den Captain da raus?
Snake? What's going on? We still gotta look for Joy Maze together.
Die können doch nicht von mir erwarten, dass ich die ganze Zeit diese scheiß Soldaten bis zur Unendlichkeit bekämpfe. Und nichts passiert. Das ist doch totaler Quatsch.
No need to take out the armored vehicle just yet. Neutralize the troops first. Strike before they spot you.
Nehmen wir es mal so. Schlafen sie alle. natürlich noch einer. Maschinengewehr irgendwie kaputt ballern oder so? Ach, keine Ahnung. Es ist zwar schade, aber pff, behalt den Dreck, ganz ehrlich. Sofern man nicht genau weiß, wie man das anstellen soll und auch überhaupt keinen Hinweis bekommt, ganz ehrlich, fuck drauf. Das fuckt mich immer ab. Dschungel! Hey, endlich mal eine genaue Aussage.
To prevent its completion, you'll need to either shut down or destroy the artificial intelligence that functions as its brain. According to Huey, that AI is now undergoing final calibrations in Strangelove's lab. It's inside a tropical cloud forest. Slip in and terminate that AI before they ship it out.
Einsatzvorbereitung. Für den Fall der Fälle nehmen wir jetzt mal die beiden mit. Doppelgranaten. Passt. Brauche ich wahrscheinlich sowieso nicht, aber von daher. Ach. Dschungel.
Survival.
Briefingdaten.
We've also confirmed that some of the enemies specialize in ambushes. Amanda's crew calls them scouts. They'll blend themselves in with the terrain and the vegetation. Then when they see you, they'll swoop in. They fight pretty much like commandos, and will use clearing techniques to flush you out. In addition to wielding normal weapons, the scouts also carry wires.
Sounds like these guys know their CQC.
Could be. We've been getting reports of CQC attacks being blocked
Super.
by wires. Stay alert.
Are there any large-scale ruins in Costa Rica, Paz?
There is a place east of Cartago called Guajabu. They have ruins there, but they're not especially big.
Not the place I'm thinking of. Any others?
Well, if you go a little way across the border into Nicaragua, there's a place called La Fortaleza de la Inmaculada Concepción. That is the only famous one.
Then what were those ruins I saw from Abanirasu?
There are a lot of things we still do not know about Costa Rica's ancient civilizations. There are giant stone spheres throughout the country. What they were used for is still a mystery. The cloud forests cover the central mountainous region of the country. They are perpetually shrouded in fog. You get wet just standing there. It is as if the entire forest is inside a cloud.
Must make for poor visibility.
It does, but beauty too. It is like being lost in some mystical green labyrinth.
I'd rather not get lost, if that's okay.
The forests are also home to lots of rare animals, especially bright-colored frogs. They like the humidity.
Orpho-Schmetterlinge.
You know that butterfly painted on Peace Walker? Any idea what that is?
It is a morpho, a Pallades morpho, if I'm not mistaken.
Pallades morpho.
Uh-huh. It is the most common type of morpho in Costa Rica.
Huh.
It has these gorgeous metallic blue wings that shimmer in the light. You can see them even from a distance.
You mean they reflect light?
Correct. It is called structural color, Morpho scales have tiny bumps on them that interfere with the light and make them look blue. The space between the bumps corresponds to the wavelength of the blue light.
Let me see if I get this. So if you could change the spacing, you'd end up seeing a different color.
That is the principle. I heard somewhere it is being researched as a way to color cloth without dye.
Think of the camouflage you could make with that.
Is that all you can think of?
Hey, it's important.
So wird die Stealth-Tarnung entwickelt.
Put a butterfly on Peace Walker.
Maybe because it looks pretty.
Oh, ist das clever.
It is.
Das hat sie zu der Stealth-Tarnung inspiriert.
This area is a tropical cloud forest.
Weil ist ja schließlich auch Otacon, der den entwickelt.
It is quite a
Ein
mythical
Stealth-Anzug.
place.
Selva de la Leche. Forest of milk. I can barely see in front of me.
There you go again. The forest is basically sitting in a cloud, so of course it's going to be hard to see. But you know, the cloud forest is the only place many exotic creatures can live.
Well, if they're not edible, I'm not interested.
Snake, I'll have you know people travel from all around the world to witness Costa Rica's unique fauna.
Ja, Snake ist aber nicht zur Sightseeing hier.
Snake, watch out for the frogs.
Why? They bite? Relax. No frog's ever eaten a snake. Although, I feasted on a few frog's legs myself.
But they are dangerous. They are poisonous.
Poisonous?
Poison dart frogs live up to their name, I assure you. Their poison is so strong, the Indígena use them to make poison-tipped arrows. Some secrete poison through their skin. Even touching them can be dangerous. So don't go petting them or anything.
So, I can't eat one.
I am warning you.
Diese Enttäuschung, ne? Oh, ich kann keine essen. Schade.
From here on in, you'll be in a cloud forest. The ground is covered in vegetation. You'll have plenty of hiding places, but so will the enemy.
I'll keep an eye out for scouts.
Trying to
Das
force
würde
your way
man
through
eigentlich
would be
meinen, der hat
suicide.
im letzten Teil schon
Know the
genug
enemy's
von den
location
Tieren
before making any
gefuttert.
moves.
Mhm.
Too bad you don't have some sort of
Er ist auf den
radar.
Geschmack gekommen im letzten Teil.
Could try night vision.
Once you know where
Yeah.
an enemy is, decide how you want to handle him. You could get into his blind spots.
Or drop him from a distance before he even has a clue someone's around. An eye for an eye, alright? Chico, you know much about cloud forests?
Not that much. All I know is there's a world of difference between a rainy rainforest and a foggy cloud forest. But they have some things in common. But like for instance, you gotta watch out for poison dart frogs. Both rain and cloud forests have high humidity, so they're perfect environments.
Ich dachte, er kommt gleich wieder mit
for
irgendeinem Dino.
other amphibians. I mean, it's not like just touching a strawberry poison dart frog or a dying dart frog is going to kill you, but don't eat them, no matter how hungry you get.
I can get all the rations I need from Mother Base. No jungle food for me this time.
Seriously? You're not disappointed you don't get to eat wild animals?
What do you think I am?
Just kidding. In Colombia, though, there's a frog, the golden dart frog, that's lethal to the touch.
How do you know all this?
Come on. Don't you think poisonous animals are cool?
Not if you get poisoned by one.
Richtig.
Well, obviously. One more thing. When you get to the forest, be on the lookout.
Na, ich wusste es. Irgendwas muss ja kommen.
I think I'll be okay there.
Irgendwas Mystisches musste ja noch kommen, ne?
Bigfoot is an ape man that lives in the Rocky Mountains. In the local Indian language, he's known as Sasquatch. And get this, he's over 3 vara. Can you believe that?
So he's kind of like a gorilla.
Completely different. Even the biggest gorillas only get to about 2 vara, and they walk on their knuckles. Bigfoot's big, and he walks on 2 feet, like people.
So he's more man than ape.
Probably. His ancestors must have split off from humans at some point. Like before they started using tools and stuff.
Yeah, but the Rockies kind of far away from here.
Eh, not that far. According to Darwin, humans came all the way over here from Africa. Plus, there have been sightings in Venezuela of an ape man called Mono Grande. Costa Rica has tons of plant and animal species. So I'd expect there to be at least one kind of ape man.
Ja, mindestens.
At least. Gotta admit, I've never heard of Mono Grande.
Yeah, he's not as famous as Bigfoot. He's similar, but he lives in Venezuela. He's not that big, less than 2 vara, but he's way more ferocious than Bigfoot. Huh. I wonder just how mean he is. Like when he catches his prey, does he punch it to death?
That's the law of the wild. You catch your prey, you kill it, and you eat it.
Yeah. But punching is way more ferocious than biting.
Well, maybe it seems that way because that's what humans do. You really love UMAs, don't you, Chico?
Do you know what I think? I think UMAs should be dangerous. Otherwise, where's the fun in hunting them?
Doc, I'm starting to sense your feelings about nukes are a little different from your colleagues.
How do you mean?
Your little chat with Coldman back there.
I told you my father worked on the Manhattan Project, right? You're familiar with it?
The basics, yeah. It was the project that kicked off the nuclear age.
That's right. Some of the finest minds of the 20th century, including multiple Nobel Prize winners, worked on it. They spent over $2 billion, and that's in 1940s money. It culminated in the successful nuclear test at Alamogordo on July 16th, 1945.
And the first use in combat a few weeks later. Doc.
I can't walk.
What?
My spine isn't shaped like everybody else's. I can't move my lower body, so I've never taken a single step, not since I was born.
What's that got to do with your dad being in the Manhattan Project?
As a result of his research, my father was exposed to high doses of radiation. It can't be a coincidence that my chromosomes are messed up. That's why I didn't want for these nukes to be another sword of Damocles. I wanted to give them a real purpose, to be a deterrent against war.
Doc.
And Coldman, we have to stop him, whatever it takes. August 6th, 1945, Hiroshima. August 9, Nagasaki.
The atom bomb attacks on Japan.
My father was married to his work. I don't have a single memory of going places or doing stuff with him on weekends. But even as a kid, I knew on some level that it was for his family. I respected him. My mother used to tell me all the time, "Your father is a brilliant scientist. He saved countless American boys from death. You should be proud of him."
Yeah. You could say the war ended because of those bombs.
When I was in the 5th grade, a Japanese student transferred to our class. She showed me photos of Hiroshima after the bomb. I couldn't believe my eyes. A city of over 350,000 people reduced to a scorch mark on the ground by a single atomic bomb. Houses blown off their foundations, burned to ashes. The only things left standing were the skeletons of steel-framed buildings. It wasn't just the buildings. Blackened corpses on the side of the road. Survivors covered head to toe in severe burns. Within a few months, over 70,000 had died in Nagasaki, twice that in Hiroshima. For years after that, I couldn't talk to my father. Couldn't even stand to look at his face.
I know how you feel, Doc. But your father's your father.
If he hadn't worked on that project, my body wouldn't be like this. I could be researching something else. I could have lived a normal life.
Ganz schön tragisch.
It wasn't so long ago the world stood on the brink of nuclear war.
Just over on the other side of the Caribbean.
I was 17 at the time. I'd skipped a few grades and was a sophomore at MIT. I remember feeling kind of apathetic about the news that came in every day. It seemed clear to me that as long as they had a grasp of the concept of nuclear deterrence, there was nothing to fear.
Either that, or they were fanning that fear on purpose.
As a way to secure a bigger defense budget? Huh, I could see that. But if that was their plan, it kind of backfired.
Because it ushered in the era of détente between East and West.
Coldman's really gonna do it this time. Once the nuclear genie is out of the bottle, the yoke of deterrence is going to be meaningless. People will die. Cities will burn. We have to stop him now before it's too late to turn back.
Peace Walker Projekt.
So you've been doing nuclear research your whole life?
No, not really. At first, I wanted to be an aerospace engineer. For me, the Sputnik launch was a good shock, not a bad one. I thought the age when science was used for war was over, and that a glorious age of space exploration was dawning. The year I skipped ahead and got into MIT, Gagarin went into orbit, which made me more excited than ever. Of course, even back then, I knew the space race was just another facet of the Cold War.
Moscow had a leg up on us, and we were desperate to catch up.
I know. But for me, it was a happy time. I joined NASA, got to do the kind of research I loved. Our nation's prestige hinged on our work. They gave us whatever resources we asked for. I knew you could turn a rocket into an ICBM by fitting it with a nuclear warhead, but that didn't bother me so much. It didn't last long, though. The space and nuclear arms races took up enormous sums of money. America beat Russia to the moon, but that's where it ended.
Then came détente.
Exactly. NASA's budget was slashed as a result.
Klar.
My father being a nuclear expert and all, they put me to work on a more obvious deterrent. Missiles. At NASA, I'd been researching a locomotion system for lunar exploration. Tires aren't suited to driving around on the moon, you know. And that's how I caught Coldman's eye.
Das Peace Walker Projekt.
The aim of the Peace Walker project is to achieve robust nuclear deterrence across Central America by deploying a new nuclear weapon system along the Caribbean coast. Peace Walker is also the name of the system itself.
A nuclear weapon named Peace. I can just see the look on Kaz's face. So why exactly does this new system need legs in the first place?
Because it's a walker, an unmanned weapon moving under its own power and capable of launching a deterrent strike from anywhere. That's the whole idea behind Peace Walker. The reason Peace Walker is a mobile nuclear weapon system is to maximize its potential as a nuclear deterrent.
How so?
If need be, Peace Walker can stay constantly on the move so that the adversary can't pinpoint its position. That allows it to avoid preemptive enemy strikes.
So you're saying it keeps the retaliation card in play?
Coldman likes to brag about it in this way.
Like a land-based version of an SSBN.
And there's another reason for them to be mobile. Peace Walker also has a self-destruct function.
Die wird mit Pipecode
Why would
eingegeben.
Peace Walker need a self-destruct function?
You saw it, didn't you, Snake? That sphere on Peace Walker's head?
Yeah.
That's a hydrogen bomb.
Boah.
What? You're telling me that thing's a thermonuclear device? Do they have any idea what kind of destruction that thing would cause?
I know, it's crazy. I mean, even overkill has its limits. If it's strategic value they want, they could have gone with something smaller. It's like they want a weapon on par with Russia's Tsar Bomba.
This arms race is running way out of control.
Ein bisschen, ne?
Evolutionary dead end. A saber-toothed tiger. You can't load a warhead that big on a missile, of course. And no strategic bomber could carry it. That's where Peace Walker comes in.
So, it waltzes into enemy territory carrying a hydrogen bomb and blows itself up. Christ.
Krasse Scheiße.
The biggest nuclear warhead ever actually detonated was the Soviet RDS-220, nicknamed Tsar Bomba. It had an estimated yield of 57 megatons, 10 times as much power as all the explosives used throughout World War II. The test took place on October 30, 1961, above Novaya Zemlya. The explosion is believed to have created a fireball over 2 miles in diameter. Can you believe that? Like a miniature sun. The explosion was seen as far off as Finland, 600 miles away, and some people even reported windows shattering. The shockwave traveled 3 times around the Earth.
3 times?
Peace Walker is armed with a massive hydrogen bomb, even more destructive than Tsar Bomba. It can sneak into enemy territory, lie low, and in the event of an enemy nuclear strike, detonate itself in retaliation. And the locomotion system that lets it do that? My research. Snake, Those legs were supposed to make my dream come true. Now they're about to jump the fence of nuclear deterrence. You have to stop them. I'll apply all my energy into developing weapons and equipment to help you do it.
Sounds like a deal.
Er wollte eigentlich nur Beine für sich entwickeln, ne?
What made you put an AI in the Peace Walker?
Well, for one thing, because it can't be manned. Peace Walker's designed to enter enemy territory and blow itself up, if necessary. You can't put a person inside a weapon that could blow at any
Also
time.
Roboter Selbstmordattentäter.
So we equipped it with an AI instead.
Super.
That's strangely humane of you.
And besides, Peace Walker was designed as a bipedal weapon system. You can't imagine how hard it shakes when it walks. It'd turn a man into mush. Plus, when launching a nuclear missile, it has to perform ballistic calculations in real time. See? Because it's always moving.
Hold on. If that's all it does, then a high-performance computer ought to do the job. It doesn't need intelligence.
That's a very good point, Snake. Which brings me to the real reason. Peace Walker needs AI to make decisions regarding nuclear retaliation. It's what ensures perfectly mutual assured destruction.
I've heard all this before. You want a war between machines?
We never actually launched the first nuke. Of
Oh,
course.
Snake hat Dings
It's
gesehen.
strictly a
Aber das kann gar nicht sein, die gab's noch gar
Only
nicht.
a politician could make such an illogical decision as starting a nuclear war. Conversely, if an adversary launches a nuke at us, the AI will not fail to retaliate. Therefore, the adversary can't launch. The AI guarantees it.
Even so, launching nukes without authorization?
Boomer captains have the
Das
authority
klingt
to
alles
launch
so
and
nach
communications are cut off.
Transformers, nach
It's the
Terminator.
same principle.
Not even the captain of a boomer can make that decision alone. The way I heard it, that's the only situation where insubordination is allowed.
Only because humans are imperfect. That's Coldman's line of thinking.
You're saying that machines don't make mistakes? That's a myth. Worse than that, it's blind faith.
We wouldn't put our faith, our fate, into the hands of any ordinary machine. That's what the AI is for. The decision to launch a retaliatory strike requires high-level judgment. You have to take into account not only the state of the war, but the entire world. And sometimes, you need to make a guess based on incomplete information.
Huh. You think an AI can do all that?
Yeah. At least Dr. Strangelove does. Peace Walker is fitted with several close-range weapons. We'd also planned for it to be able to enter enemy territory and self-detonate.
Wonderful. What exactly are we dealing with here?
Well, the flamethrowers for one thing. One in the front and one in the rear. Then there are the S-mines. They're like cluster bombs. It scatters them from its leg hatches. If you see those open, you better clear out quickly. And finally, the rockets. These can travel quite a distance, so stay sharp. On the other hand, it can't fire them from too close. But then again, there are those flamethrowers. It can also use its legs as weapons against any infantry on the ground.
Ouch.
But remember,
Ouch.
Peace Walker technically isn't complete. With just the reptile pod, it can only perform relatively simple maneuvers. They've got certain quirks, too. What's more, look carefully and you should be able to predict which attack is coming next.
Okay, but why does Peace Walker need to walk on two legs? I think treads would be good enough.
You'd be wrong. As you know, the terrain in Central America is rugged and complex, especially along the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica. You've got jungles, swamps, mountains, and the only way to get across all that terrain, no matter how rugged, is on legs.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be tough to cross a swamp, even on legs?
It wasn't easy, that's for sure. The reason we picked Costa Rica as a proving ground is because we can test it on every type of terrain.
This Peace Walker project the CIA's talking about. You believed in it, huh?
Yeah, I believed. Actually, maybe I just wanted to believe.
What do you mean?
Here's how Coldman explained it. Peace Walkers, a weapon for peace. One to ensure true nuclear deterrence. It'd be the anchor to bring stability to Central America. He told me, the nuclear weapon system you've built will never be used. It will forever stand vigil as an icon of peace. And to achieve that, he needed my bipedal locomotion technology. To be honest, I was flattered.
Flattered?
Wouldn't you be?
Naivling.
My colleagues in the scientific community have never taken me seriously. They told me bipedal locomotion was a pipe dream, that it'd never amount to anything. It was the first time anybody recognized my work. How could I not be happy? And besides, it was my chance to surpass my father. To create nukes for peace. Or so I thought anyway.
But Coldman's really going through with it.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense, really. No one would give the project any notice unless they could prove that an unmanned
Gut,
system
er hat halt
is
seinen
capable of
Ego
launching.
geschmeichelt.
Klar.
Und er ist drauf angesprungen.
Na, natürlich. Weil keiner den Satz verstanden hat.
Why is Coldman gonna launch a nuke? If all he wants to do is prove the AI retaliation system works, he doesn't need to put a live warhead on it.
I agree. He could demonstrate the system by launching the missile alone, without a warhead. I asked him the same thing at first. He said there was no point in using a dummy missile. That it'd take an actual nuclear launch to deter potential enemies. Launching the real deal gives him a leg up in negotiations with Langley. That's what he's really after.
Super.
I based the bipedal locomotion technology used in Peace Walker on Soviet research. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I stole most of the basic ideas behind it.
Soviet? Bipedal? You mean Granin?
You know him?
Yeah. I met him at his lab in Russia. He helped me out a little bit.
You met him? What were you?
He was head of the Granin Design Bureau, creator of countless Soviet weapons.
I'd hit a wall in my research at the time. Granin's ideas solved nearly all my problems.
There's nothing unusual about using somebody else's work to further your own research, is there?
As long as you cite it, yeah. But I wasn't in a position to do that. His research was classified at the highest level. Soviet research, no less.
So, you used it without telling anybody?
I
War
wanted
doch
to show
klar.
up my colleagues for once. The ones who never took me seriously. But you reap what you sow. Coldman seized on that vulnerability. Told me if I quit the project, he'd expose my larceny.
He had you by the balls, Doc.
Damit hat er sie bei an den Eiern, wa?
How'd you get your hands on
Lustig, Snake hat das gesagt, was ich gedacht
That
habe.
was also Coldman. He used his agency contacts to get a hold of it.
Giving you stolen information, then using it to blackmail you. Damn.
I knew it was Granin's work the minute I saw it. See, I'd been corresponding with him for a while.
Corresponding.
Letters. Between scientists doing the same kind of research. He always complained that nobody understood his ideas on
Mann,
bipedal
Snake, er erwähnte
locomotion.
doch einen Freund aus Amerika.
So you're
Ja.
the American friend he was talking about.
Obviously, he didn't write a word about the technology in his letters. Except for one time. If by chance anything should happen to me, I entrust my research to you. Better that than handing it over to these ignorant so-called scientists.
Sounds like him, all right.
Then one day, his papers actually came. It wasn't hard for me to imagine what had happened to him. I felt it was my duty to carry on his work after him. And also,
What?
I thought maybe combining his technology with mine could be a way to bring East and West together. Like the docking of Apollo and Soyuz.
It'll never
Ist
make
irgendwie
the
süß, ne?
history books. And it's still not a reason to plagiarize.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I never had the courage to tell the truth, that's all. I always looked for excuses to cover it up.
Until now.
Huh?
You told me everything. You're no longer a coward.
Metal Gear.
Huh? What about it?
You mumbled that when I first explained about Peace Walker. I'm curious what it meant.
Exactly what it says. Metal Gear. Granin coined the term.
Granin did?
He thought of his technology as the metal gear that meshes infantry with artillery.
I like the sound of that. Metal? It's got a nice ring to it. Better than an outright lie like Peace Walker, anyway.
Those papers the CIA gave you, was there any data on the Shagohod in there?
Shagohod?
A nuclear tank that launches IRBMs. It competed against Granin's system for approval.
Oh, the thing with the rockets. Designed by a guy named Sokolov, right?
What's so funny?
No, I was just remembering some of the commentary Granin added to the Shagohod papers. You should have seen the way he badmouthed it. It was too conservative, too ugly.
I can imagine.
He was so angry when he wrote that, he smeared up the ink. And you know how shoddy the paper is over there to begin with.
I'll bet. That's Granin, all right.
Imagine accelerating the launcher itself to 300 miles an hour to extend the range of an IRBM. As stupid as it sounds, it's a hell of a concept. Who but the Soviets would think of using a tank as the first stage of a rocket? I actually took a cue from the Shagohod when I developed the Pupa.
That hovercraft thing? You stole that one too?
Give me a little credit. I only borrowed the concept. The technology is original. As it turned out, hover technology wasn't enough to handle all the terrain in Central America. It relied too much on brute force.
But the Shagohod was a major threat. That thing could corner like you wouldn't believe. Built pretty tough, too.
You sure know a lot about it.
It almost did me in. I couldn't forget it if I tried.
Did you in? So you were the one who took it down. Wow! You really are amazing.
I didn't do it alone.
No, seriously, thank you. We might not be here today if they'd begun mass-producing that thing. Then again, they're hard at work now miniaturizing nuclear warheads. Pretty soon they won't even need an accelerated launcher like the Shagohod.
Great. That means they're that much closer to being able to launch from anywhere in the world.
Jetzt fühlt sich bestimmt super. Hätte ich das Ding bloß mal am Leben gelassen.
Chico called Peace Walker the Basilisco.
Basilisco? Oh, right, Spanish. That's funny. I once used the codename Basilisk for the Peace Walker platform myself.
What for?
The class of lizards called basilisks can walk atop any type of terrain. In a pinch, they can even stand up on two legs and run across water. Perfect name for a system that can walk anywhere in Central America, right? Plus, there are the legends.
What legends?
The basilisks of legend were highly venomous creatures. There's a story told by the ancient Romans. A knight slew a basilisk by piercing it with his spear. The creature's poison seeped up the spear and killed both horse and rider. Remind you of anything, Snake?
Nuclear deterrence.
Bingo. Kill it and you die along with it. Your hands are bound.
Das ist
I wanted
verdammt
Peace
clever.
Walker to be like that.
You should know that people aren't that rational. Sometimes people do things that don't make sense, even when they know they're going to die. Or maybe it's because of that.
Maybe you're right. But that's exactly what I don't understand.
Wie kann man das schon verstehen?
So this Dr. Strangelove was at NASA,
Yeah. Well, actually, Strangelove left for DARPA not long after I joined.
and then the two of you ended up back together doing research in Costa Rica.
Not exactly together. We coordinated on a few things, but the research projects themselves were separate from each other. We had it worked out so that Dr. Strangelove handled the mammal pod, Peace Walker's cerebrum, while I did the rest.
That letter, something to do with your research?
Huh?
Ja klar.
No, it's yeah, it's a report. Research findings.
Natürlich.
Research findings? Anything in there we could use against Peace Walker?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Just don't read it, okay? Promise me you won't?
Ich weiß ja sowieso schon, dass das ein Liebesbrief ist. Dann starten wir mal den Einsatz. Das war viel Input. Kapitel 2, die Phantomheldin. Kapitel 2? Wow.
Snake, how's the mule treating you?
At this pace, I should be there by tomorrow morning.
You've got to
So viel zum Thema, du hast das Gefühl, es ist bald zu Ende.
Nice to have a guide.
already on it. I've enlisted Pass to help you.
Ja, es wird wahrscheinlich 3 Kapitel haben.
Snake, I know you are an expert in survival, but you need to stay alert.
Jede Metal Gear ein. Und das waren ja 3 Stück.
So foggy, you can hardly see the trees. It is home to 2,500 species of plants, including 400 types of orchids. There are also 500 species of butterflies and over 400 species of wild birds. The bedrock is solid enough that Mayan ruins have miraculously survived centuries of earthquakes.
An AI lab in a mine ruin. Who'd have thought, hey, Huey?
My sentiments exactly. That doesn't mean security's any less tight, though. You still have the ID card I gave you, don't you?
Got it right here.
That'll get you through the gate, no problem. After that, you're on your own. As long as the AI remains unassembled, Coldman's plan's on ice.
What about security inside the lab?
Well, it shouldn't be a problem for you. Strangelove demanded that the security presence inside the lab be kept to a minimum.
It's not all good news, Snake. Coldman knows we're here. He's raised security in the area surrounding the lab. You'll be seeing a lot of that Chrysalis UAV, and a bunch of patrol choppers too. There may be scouts in the jungle lying in ambush. As you approach the lab, be extra vigilant.
I'll be careful.
They're looking for you. Stay sharp. Snake, Strangelove's lab is a few miles to the north. It won't be long before the AI is complete. Don't let that happen.
Wow. Mit Phantomheldin ist bestimmt Boss gemeint.
Careful. If there's enemy scouts around here, they'll be nearly impossible to see.
Ich habe das Nachtsichtgerät nicht eingepackt, verdammt.
Watch out. Enemy search may not spot enemies that are actively hidden.
Ich würde mal sagen, wir haben den ersten Scout erledigt.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
Das ist bestimmt wieder irgendwo ein Scharfschütze.
I just heard footsteps. Probably some animal.
Fulton recovery helicopter is complete.
Ist doch ganz gut. Ja, bin zufrieden mit mir. Wenn du irgendwo einen Speer siehst, sag Bescheid. 4 Augen sind mehr als 2.
Ja, das Problem ist bloß, durch die Zeitverzögerung wird es schwierig.
Ja, stimmt.
Wenn ich ihn sehe, hat er dich meistens schon vorher erschossen.
Oh, shit. Hinter dem Baum ist bestimmt einer, oder? Ah ne, da ist einer. Schlaf. Alles klar. Ach, verdammt. Schlaf. Schlaf, verdammte Scheiße. Und tschüss. Und noch einer. Oh, ich habe eine Schlange gefunden. Was auch immer die bringt. Ist das eine Einsatzwaffe oder? Ja, das ist wahrscheinlich einfach nur so ein Bonus. Oh, Gefangener.
Bolton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
Das lief doch ganz gut. Ah, der Maulvogel. Oh, Scheiße. Snake! Oh, fuck. Das wird lustig. Ja, mit dem habe ich wenigstens Erfahrung. Wird fortgesetzt, natürlich. Sekunde. Schutzschild, oh. Schlange entdeckt, nackt. Uniform, Schlange nackt. Was zur Hölle? Versorgungsration stellt Leben wieder her. Schutzschild. Kampfhandlungen werden beendet. Wunderbar. Gucken wir erstmal, was die Neuen können. Koch. Intel-Team. FE-Einheit. Intel-Team. Medizinisches Team und Intel-Team. Kampfeinsatz. Team Alpha ist zurückgekehrt. Ist klar. Nächsten. Kriegt er wohl hin. Marker können wir auch entwickeln. Ah ne, den Marker entwickeln wir gerade, stimmt. Rauchgranaten, Liquid, Solides. So. Ach, das Nachtsichtgerät habe ich noch gar nicht entwickelt, okay. Please English or German? I don't understand any other languages. Ja, dann auch für den Einsatz. Bergung von Objekten. Machen wir das mal.
Let's get this mission started. Complete the mission and proceed to the Fulton recovery point so we can get you back alive and well. Good luck out there.
Achso, nee, war doch richtig. Ration ist Rang 2, System Rang 2. War der Marker nicht auch Rang 2? Komisch. Irgendein tolles Gerät noch hier. Ja, besser als nichts, ne? Ein bisschen mehr Heilung ist ein bisschen mehr Heilung. Briefing-Daten. Ich würde mal sagen, er kann kein Englisch.
Ja, hatte ich durchaus verstanden.
Hat er?
Mhm.
Und warum spricht er dann immer noch so?
Weil er scheiße ist?
Würde ich mal sagen, ja. I repeat one more time. I don't speak any other language. I can only understand English or German, please. And if you ignore that, you will be kicked.
Spar dir die Mühe, der verarscht dich.
Ah, okay. Wieso, was sagt denn der? Verstehst du, was er sagt?
Ja, man kann es ja durch den Google-Übersetzer jagen.
Ah, okay, und was sagt er?
Ja, ein bisschen.
Würde mich mal interessieren, was er sagt.
Das wiederhole ich im Stream nicht.
Ah, okay. That kind of asshole.
Genau.
Kick ihn. Falls du es nicht schon getan hast.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
So was brauchen wir hier nicht.
Fulton recovery helicopter is complete. Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
Bye bye, Darius. And never come back. Ah, da ist auch noch eine. 8 Stück, okay. Ne, das ist technische Daten. Okay. Cool. Ach so, ich soll immer nur Sachen zerstören. Oh. Nein, du hast gar nichts gesehen. Ist das ein geheimes Dokument oder so? Ja, da komme ich ja noch von der anderen Seite irgendwo hin. Aber hier ist alles dicht, ne? Ja, gut, dann ist ja nur noch das. Ah, Kreuzchen. C4. C4. Ja, stimmt ja. War ja so.
Now we've got to recover those supplies. Hurry! Yes. Now get over to the goal.
Wo ist denn der Abholpunkt? Wahrscheinlich da hinten irgendwo. Ah, da. Dum 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 dum. Dum dum dum.
Mission complete. The folks back at Mother Base will be thrilled.
Sehr schön. Wie es aussieht, bleibe ich heute wohl unten.
Okay.
Prinzessin muss sich erstmal wieder an den Umstand gewöhnen mit früh.
Ja, klar.
Die ist wohl heute ein bisschen fertig. Verstehe ich auch. Kein Problem. PKM. Was ist denn eine PKM? Ach, das ist die Waffe, die die anderen immer benutzen. Spezialbericht ist eingetroffen. Neue Mitglieder in der Einheit, 4 Stück. Gucken wir mal, was können die denn? Einen guten Mediziner. Koch. Das ist nicht so wichtig. Was kann er denn noch kämpfen? FE ist ja jetzt nicht so geeignet. Da schmeißen wir sie in die Kampfeinheit. Nochmal ein Koch. Und ein Mediziner. Speichern wir mal eben. Ach komm, Moment, ich muss ja noch dem Kampfeinsatz etwas zuweisen. Sehr schön. Blindenmunition. Ja, die macht ihr fertig. Los. Get it, guys. Das werdet ihr wohl hinbekommen. So, dann nochmal safen. Und dann geht es gleich den Helikopter an den Kragen, würde ich mal sagen. Diesen Part nenne ich wahrscheinlich Hueys Lebensgeschichte und kleinere Missionen. Vorstellung, wo sein, bis gleich, haut rein, euer Silvarius, bye bye, au!